I'll do this one. And then
Mr. Matunsela, volume 1 of what? Of the applicant's volume or your volume? Of your bundle?
the volume 1 that I'm referring to is the volume with the complainant's complaint, the tribunal's bundle.
Oh, thank you.
I'll hear the indication from the chair if I'm ready, if I should proceed. I'll hear from you, Chair, if I have to proceed.
Yes, sir. I think you can proceed.
Dr. Ed, good morning.
Good morning.
If I was to orientate you, the document that has been placed before you is an affidavit deposed to by the respondent, J.P. Mbenenge. It's at page 150. Are you there?
Yes, I've got it open.
It is a response to Ms. Mengo's complaint. And that complaint dealt with, amongst other things, the WhatsApps, which you referred to yesterday. And those WhatsApps have in them emojis, which I will bring to your attention in a moment. For purposes of the exercise, can I also ask you to put your page, your finger at page 39
Is this of the same bundle?
of the same bundle, yeah. So please don't have two pages opened up.
Just to confirm, you said page 39.
Page 39, yes. So the exercise is about comparing the complaint and the answer by the respondent and what the respondent was answering to. Are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you.
Now, at paragraph 6.1, at page 149, over the page to 150, the respondent is dealing with the allegations pertaining to the WhatsApps which are at page 39. Can you see that? And the occasion is when Ms. Mango indicated to the judge, to the respondent, that she was going to be in East London. And there was an invocation of the biblical verse, remember that context in the WhatsApps. And more specifically over the page at paragraph 6.2, the discussion between the JP and Miss Mengo, the respondent and Miss Mengo, was the prospect of them being intimate. And JP answers that claim in page 150, paragraph 6.2. And he says, when I saw that Miss Mengo was not amenable to being intimate at that stage, I asked if she wanted mere friendship. Her response was to send a picture of a woman laughing, followed by a text with 3 rolling with laughter face emojis, saying she had no answer. And this conversation is in K3. Now, can I ask you then to go to K3, which is at page 43. Sorry, start at K2 and K3. Can you see that?
So is that from page 41?
Yes.
Where are we, Mr. Matonsala?
We're at page K41 of volume 1. We're comparing it with N42, K3.
Yes.
And you see in that page, and you have seen at page 42, K3, there is a use of emoji there by the respondent at 2251 with rolling with laughter emojis. Can you see that?
Sorry, Advocate Manansela, do you mean the complainant?
The complainants.
Okay.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
And the context there is that the complainant, Ms. Mengo, utilizes rolling with laughter emojis and saying "azikompendula." Can you see that?
Yes.
At 2255. What did you understand this to mean?
Chair, may I refer back to my notes on my laptop, please?
Oh, please
where
do.
I analyze the emojis. Because I cannot remember offhand specifically every comment that I placed when I went through the analysis. Unfortunately, I don't have a photographic memory, Chair.
Yeah, well, nobody does.
I accepted this.
Are you wanting to comment on the emojis or on the printed message?
On the interpretation she places on the emojis.
Okay, all right. Well, if I have got to go with Dr. Docret to see what she said yesterday, I'll have to go to another volume, isn't it?
Yes. Volume 3.
I've got to go to volume 3.
And compare where these images are found, to be found?
Yes.
Oh, yes, yeah. Can I please, I thought it was too dexterous to ask you to have too many documents all over the show.
4 hands.
I was trying to, I can point you to the pages where these messages are found.
All right. We will also rely on her.
Yes, yeah.
But we need to have
That reference.
that comfort as sitting members. As she refers to the volume which we dealt with yesterday, also to have our volumes at hand.
Yes, sir.
And
Can I ask?
my unofficial complaint is, why is these things are being dealt in this manner, so inconsistent? Why did we not stick to one set of pictures and deal with it all the time? Because I've got about 4 or 5 sets of identical WhatsApp messages in all sorts of files. Anyway, I wish, as we're doing this, we could have been dealing directly with the very file that Dr. Docret used yesterday,
Yes.
which will follow volume 3, but unfortunately we'll have to be more than be ambidextrous, right? You must bear with us.
I'll bear with you.
Now we're going to volume 3, because we
Yes.
must have it as the witness testified.
Yes.
Chair, I can assist. It's on page 1215 in volume 3.
Page 1.
1215.
Thank you. Dr. Docret, you have been able to locate your
Yes,
file and the notes.
yes, Chair. I'm getting there because my version doesn't have any numbers on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let me just see.
Okay, I am there, Chair.
And what time is sorry, Mr. Madonsela, the time of the message?
2251.
2251.
Please, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
I'm saying the question is, what interpretation do you give to the use of the rolling on the floor with laughter emojis used in that context?
Chair, this sequence, we've seen from the complainant that she used the laughing tears of joy rolling on the floor emoji as an automated response. So this is consistent with that interpretation that I offered yesterday. Chair, we can also add that in this instance, within this context, she was making light of it by laughing, and she was laughing it off in response.
I'll come back to the interpretation you are placing on it. Can I also ask you to deal with the other rolling on the floor with laughter in the complaint and juxtapose that with what the respondent says about it? Can I ask you to go to page 147 of the affidavit of the respondent and direct your attention to paragraph 4.5.
Paragraph what?
4.5. Yes. Now, this is dealing with the very start of the conversation between the two, which is dealt with in the complaint, and the emojis and the messages sent between the parties, which form part of Annexure B4.
Sorry, Chair, what is Annexure B for?
Sorry?
What is Annexure B
Oh, no, no,
for?
at page 27 of the complaint. Page 27 of the complaint.
In this file?
That document, yeah. Volume 1.
Chair, those messages are also in volume 3, page 1159. That is on the 4th page of your
Okay, thank you.
WhatsApps.
Thank you, Advocate Skeppers.
Are you there?
Yes,
just
I'm
giving
there.
you time to go.
No, I'm there.
As I recall, your interpretation of the emojis in the used by the complainant, if I use page 47, rolling on the floor with laughter, did you really calculate that? And then the monkey emoji closing its eyes at 1905. Can you see that?
Yes, I can see that.
That you interpreted to mean she was laughing it off.
That is correct.
Now, in the response by the JP, the respondent in this matter at page 147, paragraph 4.5, she gives an explanation as to what his understanding of the use of those emojis mean. He says, open quote, using 4 rolling with the laughter face emojis and an emoji depicting a monkey closing its eyes with its hands, both of which I understood to mean that Ms. Mengo was comfortable with and amused by the conversation. She jokingly asked me whether I had really calculated the age, to which I jovially responded with 4 rolling with laughter face emojis and by saying I was merely asking. Now, I suggest to you that the use of the emoji, rolling with laughter emojis, was understood by the respondent to mean somebody who's being jovial, comfortable, and joking about the conversation, in the same way that he used it in response to the complainant in that jovial manner. Would you have a problem with that proposition?
No, I don't.
And to the extent that both of them used it in that fashion, in a jovial manner, or being amused by it, you say it does not carry through throughout all the messages.
No, because it would be context specific of what was happening at that time.
But when you prepared your report or your opinion or expert opinion, you did not have regard to the JP's response.
No, as I indicated yesterday, I had no sight of that.
Now, let's go over to another section dealing with this topic at page 148, dealing with another emoji. It's paragraph 4.10. This is now dealing with an emoji at B4, sorry, at B5, it's 1161. What is it?
Is that a volume 3?
Yeah, in volume 3, it's 1161.
Advocate Skippers?
It's page 6 of your
Okay, thank
panel.
you. Thanks.
Where is it here? Now, at 4.2, 4.10, keep it. She deals with the winking emoji. The respondent is dealing with a winking emoji with the words "keep it that way." Can you see that? In response to "keep it that way."
I can see that.
It's about, the context here is about the JP saying, "What's your age?" And she's saying, "No, I'm behaving myself." And says, "No, ukuziphatha kakuhle." And then she then responds at 1915 at page 1161. The JP says in relation to that emoji, in response to my comment that she should keep it that way, she sent me a winking face emoji, which I also interpreted to mean that she was amused by the conversation. Can you see that?
Yes, I can see that.
The point I'm making, sorry, before I put the proposition, what did you say this conveys? How did you interpret this one?
Chair, I interpreted that winking face emoji within that specific context to mean general positivity and agreement
Agreement.
with warmth and affection.
Yes. Now, you see, there's a contrast between what you say and what the JP says. He says he understood it to mean amusement and conversation. Is that consistent?
Sorry, I didn't hear that, Advocate Manansela.
The JP's interpretation of that emoji is that he understood it to mean that she was amused by the conversation. The question to you is that interpretation by the JP consistent with your interpretation?
It's not consistent because the winking face emoji doesn't show amusement, it shows agreement.
Yes. Can we just pause there a bit? The winking emoji, as it is dealt with in the Unicode that we dealt with yesterday. Do you have the Unicode in front of you? Have you got the winking? Have you got the winking, the Unicode with you in front of you?
Where do we find it, Mr. Madansela? Because
It's Exhibit 3, which we entered yesterday.
yes,
that
but where,
Unicode.
which page or which
I'm going
which
there.
item?
It's number 12.
Item 12. It is described, it is associated with the emotions or expressions flirt, heartbreaker, sexy, slide, tease, wink, winking, and winks. Does that accord with your interpretation of what you placed to the winking emoji?
Chair, when I testified yesterday, I explained that each emoji has a specific meaning, but it would be context specific in how we interpret it. So I would agree that my interpretation to say this was agreement, the winking face emoji was agreement with warmth and affection, would correlate with the keywords prescribed with what Unicode said. Because on the Unicode document that I have in front of me, Chair, you will see that it says other keywords. And these emojis, as I understand it, and from the research that I've conducted, need to be interpreted within the context of which it's being applied.
But the question to you is it consistent with your, is the meaning that you attach to that emoji consistent with the words associated with it in code?
It's consistent with the wink and the winking.
And is it consistent with the JP's understanding that it means amusement? Or rather, amusement with the conversation?
No, it means agreement.
Agreement.
Yes.
We will come back to what the complainant attaches to it, because there seems to be some divergence of views about what it means. The point I'm highlighting that it means different things to different people. It means something else to you. It means one thing to the JP. It means something else to the complainant. And I'll ask the questions in the context of those different interpretations placed in the emoji, ultimately.
Sorry, before you go there, maybe, you know, these things are broad. I think it's unlikely that two people, let alone 5 people, agreeing on the interpretation of a particular emoji, it's unlikely they will use exactly the same language. They'll use different languages, perhaps words even, although expressing a common sentiment, but they won't use identical terms or terminology. It's unlikely. But what I can perhaps just ask, accepting that people won't use identical words, maybe what you should ask is, looking at the words that are attached to by Unicode, looking at those words in the relevant column, do you have a problem with any one of those words?
In this context, Chair, the complainant, from my interpretation of this emoji, was not using it to tease the respondent. There's the word tease. There's also the word slide. There's also the word, Chair, heartbreaker, which I wouldn't associate in this context with this specific emoji, how it was used.
Flat?
Yes, Chair, because I did say yesterday that it was warmth and affection. So we can associate the word flirt with this specific response and how it was used in this context.
And of course, as you keep on saying, context is important.
Yes, Chair.
Yes. All right. Okay. Mr. Madonsa.
Yes. If we go to page 149, and can you not waste of the volume 1? That is the respondent's answer to the complaint, and I'm taking you to paragraph 6.1 again. That East London interaction. Right at the bottom of that page, he says, Ms. Mbenenge informed her that she was going to be in London, and I asked her if we could be intimate. Her response was to quote a biblical verse, but at the same time attached 2 emojis depicting a monkey closing its eyes with its hands, which I understood to be flirtatious. Now I ask you again, is that within the realm of the words associated with the monkey closing its face, or its eyes? Is that emoji consistent with flirting?
Advocate Manansela, please can you tell me which page it's on so
Oh,
I can refer back to my notes, please?
We're at it one.
Just go to 1208, just confirm if that is the page that you are referring to, and that would be your page 53.
Yes. Now, if you are there, can I ask you also to have, if I ask you to be ambidextrous, to go to the code and look at the monkey face Unicode description? At item 128. So you describe this to mean what?
I described it, Chair, to be embarrassment and shyness.
And it is consistent with the Unicode.
It's consistent from what I see, Chair, on the page in front of me. The first keyword is embarrassed.
It is inconsistent with what the JP ascribes it to.
That is correct.
We will see what the complainant says it is about in a moment. And then we move on to page 159
Of which bundle?
of volume 1, sorry.
151 or 159?
159. Paragraph 28.3 and 28.4. Now, in that paragraph, we're dealing with the event of 18 September 2022, where the complainant was complaining about the workload and what was happening at work, and they exchanged messages dealing with their feelings at the time. And those WhatsApp chats appear in the complaint can you please assist me, Ms. Kippers, in volume 3?
I'm searching for it.
What are we looking for?
No,
Maybe
I'm
I
just
can
I'm
assist.
just waiting for Ms. Kippers to assist me where it should be found in volume 3.
And who says I can assist you?
Sorry?
Who says I can assist
Oh,
you?
wait, oh yes, yes, we can.
What are you looking for?
I was looking for somebody with a computer.
I lived in the
Sorry,
time where
Chair.
there were no computers. So what are you looking? Maybe I can assist.
It's that interaction about Magusete and the emojis. Yeah? The emojis, the messages about Magusete and Zwe. Chair, I can go to the complaint and I can do the more dexterous way. I don't want to. I can do. Let me do that, perhaps. The subject of the complaint that is being dealt with there is to be found in the emojis. Okay. It's page 173 of the complaint.
Chair, that one is not in volume 3. I see that one that was provided by the JP. So that one is not part of the initial complaint from the complainant as well as volume 3. So this witness did not have that one.
Page 173 of volume 1.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Docret, it seems as though you didn't have that.
That is correct, Chair.
Yes.
Well, we can let that pass.
Yeah. Before you let it pass. Are there any others which were not there? Is it the only one which was not included from the respondents bundle? Or are there others? Which takes me back to what I raised this morning. And this question is directed to both parties. because Advocate Skippers now says to me, this was not included in the bundle that was given to the witness, and it was one of those that were handed in by the respondent. And I thought an hour ago, I was assured that everything was included in the bundle that was submitted to the witness. Everything as including those WhatsApp messages which had not been included by the complainant initially, but were later put in by the respondent.
Yes.
And which is the issue that I raised this morning repeatedly. Now it transpires that, in fact, contrary to what we were told, that everything was included, we are confronted with something which was not included. Yes. And the question is, how many others then were not included and therefore not given to the witness?
Yeah, there's another one at page 167, which I was going to deal with, and I was going to let pass because it was not given to the witness. But it is in the respondent's response.
Yes,
Which
but
page?
that shouldn't be. I don't know whether what you're suggesting, Mr. Mademoiselle, is the solution. It may result in us excluding important evidence which should have been included. Maybe a solution lies elsewhere, you know? Maybe a solution lies in us going back just to make sure that indeed everything was included, and if we do find that there are indeed others which are not included and therefore not submitted to Dr. Dockery, then they be submitted to her. Maybe that's where the solution is. Did I interrupt you, Advocate Skippers?
I just wanted to clarify which page they indicate are not part of the ones.
As also not being included.
Yes.
Advocate
What was the other
Mademoiselle?
page?
It's page 167, paragraph 43
Of volume 1.
of volume 1.
That one is there.
I don't understand. Page 167.
167, paragraph 43, right on top of the page.
Oh. You were saying, Mr. Matonsa?
I was saying that there is an emoji reference in paragraph 43 of the respondent's response at page 167, paragraph 43, with reference to an emoji exchanges between him and the complainant.
And you were suggesting that the relevant WhatsApp message was not submitted to Dr. Dockery.
But I think Ms. Kepes has now indicated that it is there.
Maybe, yes, I think she said so.
It is there. It is on page 1273.
1273.
Yes.
Now, as we go there, can we just give you the indication? Something I wanted to highlight to you is that in that exchange, Ms. Mengo sent a message with an emoji closing its eyes, and the respondent gives an interpretation to it and says it gave him the impression that the chats were unwelcomed. I just want to ask for a comment. To what conclusion do you reach about that emoji?
That's on your page 121.
Thank you.
It's 1273 of volume 3.
1273.
Yes. What do you say about it?
Chair, I interpreted this emoji to mean shyness and embarrassment within the context of this part of the conversation.
And is it inconsistent with the interpretation that the respondent placed on the same emoji, in your opinion?
To my understanding, Chair, when I look at paragraph 43 and what the respondent wrote about it being unwelcome, if I was to look again at this emoji within the context that I interpreted it as shyness and embarrassment, I would say that it was unwelcomed.
So you have a different interpretation.
Yes. Based on my interpretation that this emoji meant shyness and embarrassment on the complainant's part, Chair.
So now let's move on now to the other segment of this interaction with you. Chair, I'm now moving to the topic where I deal with what the complainant attached to certain emojis. And I ask you, Chair, to put away the other documents, volume 1, and then I will deal with other documents very briefly. And I've taken guidance to what you said yesterday. I don't want to go through the entire transcript. I'll do a selected messages. And for that purpose, I thought it was probably prudent and expedient that I should pull out the relevant pages of the transcript of Ms. Mengo's evidence and place them before you for ease of reference, but otherwise they are there in the transcript. And with your permission, Chair, can I share that with the tribunal and the witness for the purposes of the exercise?
Do you, well, within the context of what we discussed yesterday,
Yes.
what is the purpose of that?
The purpose of this exercise is to put to this witness the meaning which Ms. Mengo, the complainant, who wrote the emojis, if it's writing the emojis, ascribed to those emojis. What she herself thought she was conveying when she inserted those emojis.
Okay, right. I understand. You want, all you want to do is to put Ms. Mengo's own interpretation of those emojis to the witness.
Yes.
Yes, I understand that.
May I please then, Chair, distribute those the relevant pages of the transcript for that exercise?
So you said we could comfortably put away all these files in front of us for now?
Yes. So for so long.
Perhaps retain only volume 3?
Yes. Retain for room 3. Where is mine?
I guess.
What did you do?
Before,
mine.
Mr. Madonsela,
Chair.
before you embark on this exercise, you remember the important point which Dr. Docret made yesterday, that I'm not here to disagree on the interpretation of the emoji. I'm not here to disagree with the interpretation placed on it by the author.
And she will defer.
She will defer.
In other words, the complainant's one will trump over hers.
Correct.
That's the
You are
point.
mindful of that.
That's the point I'm making. Exactly the point.
And notwithstanding that, you want to go through, you want to take her through.
The point I'm making, as I said to you, Chair, yesterday, and you said it might be a very tedious exercise and a lengthy one. And I took guidance and instructions And I do not propose to go through the rest of them. I just want to make examples to one or two, just three of them, to make the point. And then I can do the...
To make a point which Dr. Doctor doesn't dispute.
Well, no, yes, to make the point, to place on record what Ms. Mango had already, the meaning, the absurdity of Dr. Doctor's explanations about what the emojis mean.
She has, Ms. Mango has already put them on record, which is why you are showing us the record. It's because her answers are already on record, which record you copy and give us to us. Is it not sufficiently on record? You want this record to be put on record?
I want this
Because Mrs. Mango's interpretation of emojis, she has already put on record
Yes.
the interpretation of emojis. And Dr. Docret said, it's not for me to disagree with her interpretation because she's the author. As I say, Dr. Mango. Dr. Mango has already put this, she has already put her own interpretation of the emojis on record.
Yes.
Which record you copied and you're giving us, you give to us.
Yes.
And then you want to put that on record.
No. Can I clarify, Chair?
Please.
I want to put the interpretations and meanings ascribed to the emojis by Ms. Mango to the emojis for Dr. Doctor's comment on them.
All right. All right. You know your
One
own,
or two?
you know your own case better than I hope. I
Just-
can never hope to know. So
Yes.
we won't stop you if you feel that you need to make that point.
Yes.
Thank you. Proceed.
Can I ask you to go to the first page? And I want to suggest to you, and our learned friends will not dispute this because it's on record. At page 66, the first page of the extract, Mango deals with the laughing emojis in the paragraph at line 19 to 20. And this was the emoji which we have just dealt with when they were talking about age, with four laughing faces. And say, did you really calculate my age? Can you remember that? You say it was said in a joking manner. She says, in evidence, the reason I sent that emoji is because it was out of shock. In other words, she was expressing a sentiment or a feeling of shock. Can you see that?
Yes, I can see that.
And according to what we discussed yesterday, you defer. And her explanation of that emoji should trump your one, not so?
It should, because she's the author.
Yes. Let's go to another one. At page, Chair, I won't bore you with page 78
Please don't.
in the extract. At this moment, she was dealing with, again, laughing emojis, laughing on the floor,
Is that page 78?
page 78, yes.
Thank you.
Right at the bottom line 23. She was here dealing with that WhatsApp image with 4 rolling emojis and fingers crossed. You remember that we dealt with yesterday?
Can we be referred back to the page, Chair, in volume 3, so I can go back to the emoji, specific emoji, please?
1162.
It's on your page 7.
Thank you. Advocate Skeppers, are you sure it's page 7 of mine?
Sorry?
Sorry, Chair, it's not reflecting on page 7 of mine. I just wanted to ask Advocate Skeppers. My apologies, Chair.
Yes, that's the one with the, if I'm correct, that's the one with the 5 laughing emojis and the fingers crossed. Is that the one that you are referring to, Advocate Madonsela?
Yes,
The 4 laughing emojis and the fingers crossed?
yes, that's the one.
It's at 1919.
Okay, I see it.
So she says, with reference to these emojis, she says she sent them because she was surprised. She was expressing surprise. And you say you were wishing for it. Crossing the finger means wishing for it.
Sorry, Mr. Madonsela, but just over the page, she said, secondly, then I placed a crossed fingers emoji. Now, to me, that emoji says truly,
Truly,
really.
yes, yeah, yes. So in other words, you're saying you're wishing for it, and she's saying, with reference to the cross finger, truly, really.
Chair, I cannot argue with the interpretation placed from Ms. Mbenenge because she was the author. This is my interpretation, Chair, as I explained yesterday, with the sequence and the response within the context.
And again, you defer on her.
I do.
Let me take you to the last one, for purpose of the exercise. Chair, this is the one that you'll find. Here it is. At page 2. And it's in the from line 5 to line 10. It's page 2 of the extract. It's the page 2 on top. Are you there? Are you there? And in volume 3, it's page 116.
That would be on your page 10.
Thank you.
Yes, she was here dealing with the emoji with a winking face. You remember that the emoji? And you said about it.
Sorry,
just-
Advocate Madonsela, to interrupt you. Is that a 2028?
Yes, 2028.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you interpreted that emoji to mean that the person expressing that emoji was being flirtatious, as I recall your evidence.
Yes, Chair, I interpreted that emoji within that specific context and the time of the conversation to mean general positivity, and I said that it was flirtatious.
Now, in her evidence, she said just the opposite. She said, when I was inscribing that emoji, and if the JP was in front of me, I would have said, and then the interpreter attempted to give a description of what would be an expression of disgust.
No, that is not correct. She testified in that page 2, line 9. It meant it is fine when he said nice. She described that.
No, my understanding is that she said we can. If she said
Sorry, Advocate Madansela, I'm completely lost. Which page are we on from what your handout?
it's page 2 on top. It's page 2, line 5. According to my understanding, those emojis, they mean nice. If I was looking at him, this is now in relation to this response, I would have said.
That is not on my page 2, Chair.
Mr. Madansela, can I try and help? I think
Yes.
it does say 2, but it's not the second page. So it's page 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the 5th page in the bundle.
Thank you. Okay, I'm on the same page as you.
Yes. Yes. I'm saying to you, I don't know whether it's an objection which my friend is putting it. I'm saying to you, the witness with reference to this emoji of a face with a winking said she was conveying an expression, and she said if she was to be saying this to verbalize what she was meaning with this emoji, she would say, which I interpret to be an expression of disgust.
Chair, that is not correct. The witness testified. She explained that because I wanted her to explain what she meant by that clicking sound. And in line 9, she's describing it. It means it is fine when he said nice. She doesn't say that it was disgust because I asked her to explain what she meant by that clicking sound.
He says.
That's his interpretation.
He says. To him, he would say it's a disgust.
But that's not what he's trying to tell the witness what the complainant meant by using her emojis. She explained what she meant by that. So we cannot use Advocate Madonsela's interpretation of what it meant.
He qualified it and said, as a prelude to his question, he says, for my part, I would interpret it this way. Don't worry about his part. He's not the witness. He says, for my part, I would interpret to be disgust. And then he goes on to deal with what the witness said. Isn't that so?
No, he stopped by saying, I interpret it as being disgust.
Mr. Madonsela, speak for yourself. I really don't
Yes,
understand.
can I maybe ask the question again? Maybe
Yes,
I'll
please.
clarify myself.
You are wasting more time. Yes, please.
Yes, because I'm finishing on the topic.
No, I'm not saying you should finish the topic if you are not ready
Oh,
to
yes.
finish the topic, please.
Dr. Doctorate, when the witness testified on this emoji with a face winking, she was asked what it means. And then she said, in the record, and I'm talking about line 1, 2, 3. According to my understanding of those emojis, they mean nice. And then she continued and said, and if I was looking at him, this now, in relation to this response, I would have said, and then she then made a click sound of as an expression of the feeling that she was feeling when she sent that emoji. Now, if I'm correct that feeling of, that expression of feeling by means disgust, if I'm correct in that interpretation, I am prepared to defer to the Ms. Mango's expression of that feeling in the way that I described it.
Chair, I'm not.
I think your objection will be justified this time.
Thank you, Chair.
Well, if it's objection, my lord, can I move on to the other topic? Let's not waste time, as you say, Chair. Let's look to the last one, the last page. In volume 3, it's page 1259.
One,
1259, and it's the last page of the extract that I've given to the tribunal.
Page 104.
Thank you.
This is about that syringe emoji. The context in which this discussion was taking place is that Ms. Mango was saying, oh, I'm just troubled here at work, I'm not feeling well. And then the emoji, the JP used an emoji with a syringe. And then you, in your testimony, says the use of that syringe was sexualized because it means a male private part. That's it?
That is correct.
Now, in her understanding of that use of emoji, Ms. Mango gives the description at line 21. She says, I took that to mean that he wants me to heal.
what's that? Last page.
The very last page.
Thank you.
That is at odds with your interpretation, that's it?
That is correct.
And for that purpose, you deferred to her understanding.
Yes, Chair, I interpreted this, again, within the context of the text chain that was happening at the time. I did say yesterday as well, Chair, when I was giving evidence, that the syringe can be used for a standard meaning or two different meanings in the medical terms or purpose context, and it can be used as denoting the penis.
But of course, for the record, in terms of the Unicode, in item 1376, the syringe is associated with doctor, flu, medicine, needle, shot, sick syringe, tool, vaccination. So it's
Sorry, which page is that, Advocate Mbenenge?
it's item 1376.
Item 1.
1376 of the Unicode.
Mr. Madonsela,
Yes.
if it is convenient for you,
I was
at this
go-
stage we can stop. I'm not pushing you to stop. With what you
I've
wanted
finished
to.
this topic. I was going to ask that we take a tea break so that I move to another topic before I wrap up on this topic.
Yes, we will come back at 20, just after 22. Thank you. We adjourn until 22.